Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Brick and Easter Broadcast Network. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Niners gear because right after this broadcast, I am going to be watching the Niners beating the LA Rams. You heard it here, prediction of what we're going to do, at least right after this show. But anyway, welcome to the Brick and Easter Broadcast Network. And it's so exciting because it's January 30th. And this month, we had a load of challenges that were all part of hashtag Mind the Brick. And I participated in this with the hashtag Rebrick This Challenges. And hello, Remy Baker. Welcome to the stream. And I'm so delighted that I was one of the early people to get an invitation from our special guest today. And for those of you who saw at the end of December, we did a kickoff about what we were looking to do over the next month. So we're going to check on that. And I wanted to welcome them back to the Brick and Easter Broadcast Network all the way from Brighton, UK. We have Nick Bright. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm also hoping the 49ers win today as well. So, I'm quite looking for. As growing up with American football from the 80s, one of my earliest memories are basically the whole Jerry Rice, Montana, So yeah,
yes,
I'm looking forward to.
Do you get the broadcast over there in the UK? Will you be able to?
We have highlights. We have a highlight show, which some ways I will be trying to avoid the score, so then I see it in a day or two's time to see the highlights. So
okay, well, don't watch my Instagram feed.
Yeah, I will
don't
always. If I find out,
stay away from that. Well, the last time we spoke, Arsenal, I thought, or one of your teams, Brighton, one of your Brighton's teams that had just won. So how's your Brighton team doing?
Yeah, we would. It's a bit of a winter break at the moment because the World Cup in Qatar there's a bit of a winter break. But yes, there's not. But yeah, but I have to be. Yeah, I'm been a massive fan of American football. So, I've watched the Super Bowl live. I don't know how many years now. And I've even been to now because they play matches at Wembley. Well, not now. They now play it in Tottenham. But I've been to Wembley a few times to watch it. And I remember even back in the early 90s, we used to go to see matches. So yeah.
And I just realized too, if the network is a little choppy, that's because my family is downstairs watching the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Cincinnati Bengals. I noticed that the network was glitching a little bit. So I just wanted to let people know it's probably because I'm not at home streaming. I'm still in Arizona. But I just wanted to say that I know that soccer/football is very important to a lot of the world. And you mentioned Qatar as well and how the World Cup happening there. But for the United States, this playoff game that's happening right now is for the national. Right now, it's the American AFC Football Championship, and the one I'm cheering for is the National Football Championship. And those two teams are going to go against each other for the Super Bowl, which is in 2 weeks. So normally, thankfully, I'm not streaming in the middle of a Niners game because then I would say we have to reschedule. But I wanted to just say that, first of all, I wanted to ask you, when we first talked, I think you had 3 challenges going on at the same time. I know that there was Rebrick This, there was Sig Figure Sanctum, and there was one more that you had at the time, right?
That was January Dare, Lego January Dare.
Oh, that's right, Lego Dare. It was Geo, the Brick Fam, Jedi, and Nicole. And they were doing it for an entire week, which I absolutely
love. They do every month. They will do a different theme every beginning. For the first 7 days of every month, they do a new. And again, they were really, really kind to kind of include basically let me have mental health as the theme for January. So it was like, so that's why the month got off to a really good start with them.
Yes, they kicked it off, which was great.
And what was good was having a series of challenges like, yours and theirs, is having things which were both straight away. So there's like not initiative, but there's also ones where people could take the time. And now, I mean, we've got, let's say, there's also.
Well, we started with 3. And some of the chat has been mentioning about Watkins Floor, for example.
Yeah,
but they weren't from the very beginning.
Yeah.
At the very beginning,
while doing it, I then keep on approaching. Yeah, so they were my 3 original, and then whilst doing it, I was sort of approaching. There's and I will probably be rubbish if I remember all 4 of the names off the top of my head. But there's 4 people who do mosaics on Monday. It's John, Virginia, Stay at Home, and Lego Goblin, I think, off the top of my head. But there was that and that, so we did a theme for that. Watkins Fleur, she's done. I mean, she's from Lego, and what I was really incredible with her, because she's actually a Lego Masters contestant on Series 3 in Australia, and it's so, and her one is basically about mocks. We also had. I'm trying to now look. We also had Lego Home Sweet Home by Matthew Builds Bricks, which was basically about doing ones for the minifigures. I think, and also I had my general, anyone can post anything about Mind Brick. So what was nice was everyone. Oh, also we had Brick, also which has been and gone. We had the Habitats as well.
Right. The Habitats came on kind of midway through.
Yeah, that was about midway, and it ended. Yeah. I think it was basically like for a week or so in the middle of the week. It was for the 23rd, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So that's what's been nice, is having these sort of challenges. Some start at the beginning, some have been in the middle, and some are throughout the whole month, which means there's always been something for people to do.
Yeah.
And it's not
absolutely. I kind of feel like I was like, okay, cool. I was like one of the first adopters, and then other people saw how cool this was, and then they jumped on to help. And I think too, when Watkins Floor decided to come on, then it was like all of a sudden everybody's going, oh, Watkins Floor is in this. I better get in on this too.
Yes. And it is, I mean, it's having, that was one of the ones where I've been trying for a few people who've been from Lego Masters, just because.
Oh, they've got the cachet.
But also, I think I approached it because I saw one of her posts. I think she might have mentioned something about mental health or something on a post somewhere, and I just went, look, I'm doing this. Would you want to do a challenge? And you went, yeah, okay. And it's like, and so that's also what's great about having her do a post challenge, is because again, she's Australian, so thus is it, and like you American. You know, like me, British. So we're getting also different parts of so maybe a lot more your followers might be more American. A lot of her followers might be more Australian. So we're covering more the globe, really. And that's sort of the idea, was try and get people from around the planet, really. And just, as many people as possible. I'm speechless, really, in terms of the response we've had to people building it. And the more importantly, it's not just the builds, but it's the personal stories attached to it. And it's the fact that so many people have sort of opened up, talked, revealed about themselves to, and hopefully this is a thing which encourages people to feel like they can be more open in long term, really. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it was great starting off with the Lego Jan Dare, because every day for 7 days you had to, the word support, and first build had to be the letter S, and you would build something based on that. And at the same time, I was doing something called the Bro Thor New Year's Challenge. So I put Bro Thor in every letter of support that month, which was so much fun. And you just got a new subscriber, Gary Mullane. Gary Mullane just subscribed to
and from Ireland. Yes, very cool.
From Ireland, awesome. Yes, and welcome to the stream, Gary. And Gary's a regular too, who tunes into my show. And but I think the other thing that's been great to see is that this is also a crossover with Instagram challenges and YouTube challenges, because I think Watkins Fleur, I think, does both. You had several people who are Instagram people who did Instagram challenges. I do YouTube challenges. And you also got, which I was very excited to see, you got a TEFL also, a teenager who jumped
Yeah, I think
on
that's
it.
Matthew. I think, yeah,
Matthew builds bricks, and he's still running his challenge, I think, until today.
yeah. I think it's
And
today or tomorrow. I can't be, yeah, because
yeah,
and again, and that's another, I think he might. I can't remember with him if he approached me or I approached him. And again, it was just perfect. And it was what I like is all of they are so different but so the same. A lot of them, because mental health is a bit element of going, well, what is there is a what can you build? It's very hard. Sometimes it's a bit hard to say. But what was nice
mhm,
is having like him making the home, yours
yes,
in the re-brick this from the set. And even with the January Dare, and it was having the letters support, all of it gave you much easier. So if you really didn't know if mental health
mhm,
was like too, whoa, what do I do? It's much easier to go, okay. Brick Fan Builds theirs was basically your build your happy place. So
mhm.
again, all of these were really nice and sort of nice and simple. I mean, the other one I just kind of remembered I did another sort of not quite a challenge, but this is going to be more of an ongoing one where I'm doing a sort of a hashtag minifig your emotions.
Oh,
And
yes.
so that's where basically I think you did it one day because I was just like I was having a bit of a bad day. I was like, and I just kind of took a picture of these two minifigures, and it was just like, yeah. And I just kind of thought that's a nice hashtag I can use for the year, and that's gonna be anyone can use that, and it is literally just if turns out wherever how you're feeling, if you're feeling happy, sad,
Mhm.
angry, depressed, whatever thing you got, quizzical, surprised, uh, you find a minifigure which reflects how you feel, take a picture of it, and that's it really. So again, it's
Mhm.
nothing which really again I wanted a simple challenge as well, which almost anyone, because sometimes I know
Right.
building challenges, I know for me used to be quite intimidating because it's like, and that's why in some ways I was quite glad having to organize because it meant I had to sort of do all the challenges, which meant
Right.
I had to kind of challenge myself, which was really quite good. um
You were so impressive on making sure not only that you participated in all the challenges with your co-hosts, but also that you would put up just little vignettes, sometimes just text about what to think about mental health. And
mm.
it could be just, if you're having a depressing day, sometimes you're going to have ups and downs, and it's okay. Take a break, walk around, giving people tips. So it wasn't just the build challenges, it was
No,
also raising
yeah, and
awareness
that's what
there.
it's always. I before doing this month, I've always been posting what on well-being. I call it Well-being Wednesday. Uh,
Oh,
that
okay.
I basically every Wednesday I will post something mental health related, and that's sort of I've always from my own personal. That's why I've been doing it, and I've always been posting a lot of this stuff, and it's sort of where what I think if I kind of said to you all, okay, and come to a thing about mental health, come to an event about mental health, or I'm going to talk to you about mental health, you're not going to be as interested. But if I say, come and look at this cool Lego, and then happen to every now and then, I'm also showing you something about, oh, by the way, here's some
Mhm.
myths about suicide. Here are some, here's advice how
Yes.
to deal with anxiety. Here's advice how to deal with, here's contact support numbers if you're in the US, Australia, whatever.
Right,
It's
that
what
was so cool.
it's more
Yeah.
about basically people more likely to come and get to it. And this is what we've been getting a lot of really good, I mean, if I
Mhm.
say good responses, getting a lot of responses is not necessarily good because people responded to, like, I had the recent one about a post about imposter syndrome.
Oh, I saw that, and it was
Yeah. And I've
great.
got, I mean, there's so many comments and people going, yeah, that's so, and this is what a part of the post like that is to go to people. it is okay to feel this. You're not the only person to feel like this. We all go through this feeling where we are going to be found out, and it's sort of going. I think sometimes if you know what, maybe that's what you suffer from, I go, there's an element, go, well, yeah, that's not me. That is a syndrome. That's where I can sort of, okay, look back and go, maybe I'm not being realistic. I need to be a bit more kind of, and that's what the idea. And also, I think having so many people respond and go, look, I also suffer. Hopefully, that makes people realize that it's nothing about them as a person. This affects everyone. This affects so many different people, and that's what I'm trying to get again with all these things. Is to go, look, it's. I mean, one of the biggest hashtags I love is "It's okay not to be okay," because I think that's a really important thing. This isn't about the whole doing this month wasn't about, oh, we have to be happy the whole month, we have to be, everyone's smiling and laughing. No, it's, we will have ups and downs. Life gets in the way.
Oh,
we all have
yes.
personal situations which are out of our control, and it's a lot of times it is about control and what's out of our control and stuff like that. And it's about just saying to people, look, I mean, again, that's why I've been to some of the quotes, and there's a couple of quotes which I've done recently, the last few days. So one of them is by Leonard Cohen, which I love. Basically, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Yes, I saw that.
A beautiful quote about, we all have weaknesses, we all have imperfections, and that's something we should embrace rather than. And the other one, really, I think really sums up really for everything, is you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. But that's by Maya Angelou. And to me, that's really important, because it's we can't control everything in life. What's happening in your life at the moment with your family and stuff, you can't control that.
But what I was just going to say,
you can control how you react to it.
This has been so important for me, just having these challenges to work on. And I think you probably also know Thomas with Minimal Bricks, that often the other flip side of the Lego journey is that people often look at Lego as, oh, you're playing with a toy, rather than this is a self-care and a hobby that brings you joy. And that a lot of people don't understand that, and they have this stereotype of us as AFOLs. And I think this also raises awareness for people outside of the AFOL community. And we're seeing more people coming in now because they're realizing, hey, I can work on this bouquet and bring joy to people, whether myself or give it as a gift to somebody else. And
I mean, this is one of the reasons why Mind the Brick wasn't just about the online challenges. And also I've done quite a few in Bright, and hopefully next year, when we do this next year, hopefully I can get people to do real life events around the world. I was doing great. Yesterday, I was in one of the local charity shops in Brighton. I was live building the the minifigure, Harry Potter minifigures, which are about that big.
Is that the one with you in the window shop?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I think I can pull that up for people, because it's on your page, right?
Yes, it should be on my page.
Okay, I'm searching while you're talking.
Yeah, and we basically built that and the Adidas shoe live in the window for the whole day. I had some of people who from my Brighton Bricks group come along and help me build. I got some volunteers some people who worked in the shop to help me build and some stuff. And again, it's more, that was is a fundraising event for a charity, very important. That's me basically in the window.
Yes.
And then it's also about showing, look, adults can play with Lego. And that's the reasons I had the two different sets. The reason I was building the Harry Potter set was very much, for kids and stuff like that. But even though actually it's still the set itself is quite, for adults. But that's why I also picked the Adidas shoe to show, look, this, Lego does have stuff which isn't really for kids. This is designed for adults. It's quite cool. And it was the amount of response we're getting from people who are just walking past and just talking to people. And again, it's that sort of talking to people about, how mindful it is and stuff like that. So you not go. It makes it more easier to tell people about how mindful and how relaxing it is. The same way as I did earlier in the week as well. Before that, we have one of Artists of Brighton has a lot of very great charities, and sort of we have I do again. If anyone knows of any other charities which are around the world which do similar things, please let me know, because I love to give everyone shout outs. But we have a loneliness charity, they're called Together, and they do a befriending scheme and befriending groups and stuff.
Okay.
And they have various schemes, like they will pair people up to be friends with people. So if someone who's maybe isolated, and they have big groups. One of the groups we had on earlier the week was a lot of people who were bereaved, and so they're quite lonely now and stuff like that. And they once a month they meet, this big group, and they may do things. And I kind of kept saying volunteering, say, look, do Lego, and and I think they at first were going, not sure, and they just again loved it because it was. And there was a mixture. There were some younger people there, but there were a lot of people who were much older, older retired people, and it was, and a few people even saying, "Nah, it's not for me, not for me." And by the end of the session, they were still building, and it's
you did the hearts as well, right? And I remember seeing on your page where you have a stack of hearts from all the people who had contributed. And I think I'm looking for that right now. And what I love about this, and I'm going to share my screen, is that it shows that everybody who participated was able to contribute to a greater whole. So in other words, each one of us have a heart, like in this sculpture here, each one of us individually can build a heart. And then when you put them all together, it makes a much greater piece.
And what I try and do, a lot of these early events, one of the things I do is the hearts, brick hearts, and basically mosaics are the two things I really specialize in. I'm trying to work out which way my camera is. Like just simple things like this. You give people an 8x8 base plate and and just give a whole lot of because again, with adults, my feeling about like a lot of adults will go, if you give them a brand set a load of bricks, they won't know what to do with it. Especially if they're not a Lego fan, they won't know what to do.
Right.
But if you give them literally an 8x8 and give them a whole load of it and just say, if you don't know what to do, just make a pattern.
Yeah, make a pattern. A mosaic.
Yeah. And they will just find by just putting the pieces down, oh, that's nice. That's like,
it's therapy. It's soothing. It's repetitive. It gives you. It takes your mind off of whatever troubles are happening in your life. And I wanted to mention too that I think what was interesting about when we started with the first kickoff is that we had talked about some of the therapies and what have you. But I think what has really been great about your challenge and about #MindTheBrick is, as you mentioned, people are sharing their own stories. They're coming to you with these other challenges. So hopefully when you do this again, and you just mentioned this, so I wanted to make sure I heard you right. You're going to do this again next January as well? It's going to be another...
The plan at the moment is, I kind of think doing it every month is a bit too much.
Yeah, so I think I agree with that.
I kind of think, and part of the original plan of it was having a sort of, you get, like the other day was International Lego Day. It was thinking like, and there's certain months and I just thought, we should have a Lego mental health month. And so the plan is then for next January. So, I mean, unless somehow I think maybe we'll do another one in 6 months' time, but I severely doubt it. I think it'd probably be better to once a year, and then you can really plan it. And I can maybe like next year we can plan. Also, hopefully, more the pandemic be over, and hopefully maybe a lot more people about to organise live events. And again, what I want it to be is not where I have to. I want it. This was great what you're saying about people suggesting challenges to me, because I don't. This isn't Mind the Brick isn't really mine. It's sort of I'm sort of, I'm pushing it, but really I want it to basically be everyone's, and I want it to be where everyone feels like if they want to suddenly set up a meeting in a local coffee shop and with some like friends, build Lego and talk about, just build Lego with friends. You don't even have to talk about your own mental health. It's that you're just being social, and especially if people suffer from loneliness, or isolation, or just having that sometimes social contact is what it's about.
I completely agree. And I think one of the things that was great about this Rebrick This challenge, so I wanted to acknowledge that there's a couple people who participated in this. I wanted to thank you so much for participating in Rebrick This, which I think also maybe was a harder challenge for some people, because a lot of us are geared towards, you see a set, you follow the instructions, and then you maybe put the set away, or you tear it down and put it into your collection. But to tear it down and then just use what's in the box. And both Remy and Mairead, who are in the chat, we actually took it to another level where we did the mock improv, where we asked people from the audience to give us ideas. And then we had to build only what was in the box plus a 12-piece allowance and then make that scene. And we'll talk about that as we go through some of the rebricks that are posted. But I just wanted to thank you again for this opportunity, because I do mock improv. I do rebrick this. Sometimes I mash them together, and then to mash this together plus mine the brick on top, it was like a 3-part challenge. And I was so proud of everybody's work on that. It was just fantastic.
I will have to say it was harder than I thought, this one, because I thought it was interesting when we chose the set. I thought, okay, this looks it, but actually doing it, so I have a lot more. I have so much respect for all the people I've seen so far, who's some really amazing things so far, and it's just like, and it was just, I really struggled with it because the types
I wanted to share those with you and to review some of them with you today, because I think because it was more challenging and people are not used to this concept of just taking what's in the box and putting things together, that we didn't have as many entries as some of the other builders. And I think that's also because I have a smaller audience than some of them, but it's closer to an Iron Builders challenge. Yeah, because when we did mock improv, we only gave the builders an hour to build to what the audience had given us. So let me share with you some of those builds. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in reverse chronological order. So you'll see the mock improv ones early on. But I was really pleased and very thankful of just the creativity that you see with some of these challenges. And so I've got this. If you're following on Instagram on a phone, then if you go to Instagram and do hashtag rebrick this, that's and we have this, which actually came from Brighton Brick yesterday, right? Today. Oh, that's right. Because today, for me, it shows up, I think, the previous days. So, but and here, in your description, you talk about 4 spaceships.
It was trying to find a way of making something is one big thing, and that's why I have so much respect for people who've made, science and software made one big thing, or it was like, and then I just made a few. It was just something I kept on looking at them, they look like micro
spaceships. And I will tell you, in previous challenges where we've done rebrick this with other sets, spaceships come up a lot. So this is actually extremely appropriate. And what I love about what you've done in each of these is that you have this different character for all of them.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to look at the parts and just like the first one there. It's like those little kind of things at the gold things at the back, like kind of like they're like cannons and stuff like that. So it was sort of like going. One of the things also which did help actually as during this, I actually got to see the Eternals movie the other week, so that's sort of again it made me think, okay, these are like spaceships from from the Eternals Marvel universe. So that's why I was having that in my head, sort of going, okay.
Yeah, and here's another one which kind of look like cannons too.
Yeah.
See if I can zoom in a little bit. These little ball joints, putting those ball joints here. Yeah.
Because
this is almost like a plume.
Yeah, that's always the interesting part, because that was a bit like, is that exhaust, or is that sort of, the engine? And so, that was, I thought that to me was the really interesting part of all of them, because you had so many.
Yeah, these and when we see some of the other entries, you'll see how the creativity that comes out of this, whether it's a spaceship or a creature or a robot, you see so much different ways to look at this. And here's another, this is almost like an octopus with these little tentacles in the back. Yeah. And then here's this fourth one where you have the katana swords. They're the knives that kind of shoot up here out of this like space station. When I saw this,
it's that sort of kind of feeling of like the space station stroke, basically one of those very, very long, futuristic spaceships where it's very, very long, and those two, the katana bits would be like two towers,
right?
Basically, kind of the control, kind of, yeah.
And Remy, you do need to see the movie, because I had a whole new appreciation for the set once I saw the movie, because then I knew what these deviants were and how the designers created this. It was really, really well done. All right, so now I need to get back. Let me get back to the original. Okay, so now I'm going to just show you, this is from the mock improv session. So our challenge was to take this set and be in Seoul, Korea with the Alphabet Olympics. That was our challenge. So we asked the audience for input. We spin a wheel, and we had all different kinds of entries as far as where we were going to go. And this is my kind of interpretation. And this little squirrely thing up here is supposed to represent a building. And in the fourth photo, I'll show you this building. And then the Alphabet Olympics, I had to look this up, and we have the letter J here for javelin. So we have Icarus with the javelin, and the letter K here for knives. And then I have another angle. And then in the back over here is supposed to be an Olympic cauldron. So it's all interpretive. So here's another view of the Olympic cauldron for that. And then here's the building again that's in Seoul, Korea, which surprised me is that when you get a challenge like this and you're given a constraint, and then you're even given another constraint by the audience by saying, okay, you got this box, now build this, scene. And you're going to see when you see some of the others, it's amazing how when your mind kicks in and you have a time constraint and you can only do this in an hour, what you can put together. And yes, Mairead, I agree. It was a really good movie. And Remy, you haven't been avoiding it. You just don't have Disney Plus. Oh, okay. I wonder if let's try, Remy, contact me. Maybe we could do this on Discord. I think Discord may give us an option to do that. Okay, so this is my entry for mock improv using that set. And then I believe this, let's see, I wanted to, that's right. We're doing this in reverse order. So this one came from Nicole, and she's the one who did your January Dare with Geo the Brick Found Jedi. And this is very similar, I think, when I was mentioning about robots. So she said that this is her contribution and made these characters here. And I love this throne thing that she put together. So you have, I think, Sprite sitting on the throne with Icarus in front. And this little robot is adorable. Look at that little robot.
It has so much character. I mean, that's a sort of, it's one of those things where.
Oh, here's a close-up.
It's also very obvious what it is as well. And again, like I didn't say this when yours was on. Yours is very obvious. I didn't read the caption, I would know it's something sporting. It's the sort of like Olympics because it had that feel to it.
Olympic feel to it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what's to me is great about these. Is that a lot of them you don't need a long people. You can just look at them and go, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, I like how she and similar to what you did, instead of trying to put them all together into a scene, she made distinct different builds, which she called creative builds or creations. And there's no particular way you have to do this. And that's the thing, is that you get a box of pieces put together into something to you. All right, so let me go to the next one. And this one is from Unikitty Girly. So, and Unikitty Girly, this one really was great about, and this goes back to the reason why I thought Rebrick This was good for mental health awareness, is that when you can reframe something where you take a box and it's supposed to be one thing, and maybe that one thing doesn't appeal to you, you can rebrick it and make it something that brings you joy. And I think that's kind of the message that I hope we were getting across with the whole Rebrick This challenge. But this particular one, I love the face here. Oops. Oh, there we go. I love this little face. Look at that. And she used the printed part, so it looks like nostrils, I think.
I mean, to me, that looks like it would be one of the sets where if Lego had, they have the alternative builds. It has that sort of feel to it already, going, yeah, that would be the alternative build, because it is, to me, this is why I'm so impressed with people who can do like, that's the whole, almost the whole part there.
Also has another message, and this is when the creature is feeling confident and feeling at ease, it doesn't have to flare out these little horns. But when it feels threatened, then it will. And so it goes back to asking yourself, when is it that you feel comfort? When is it that you feel fearful? What are the triggers that do that? And how does that change you? So you can see that in this case, this little figure becomes this, scary thing because it's either defending itself or it feels like, it has to defend itself from a predator, for example. I thought it was very clever. Extremely well done. Oh, did I just get do I have to get rid of somebody? Hold up. I have to go into behind the scenes, and because one of my mods isn't here right now. Oops. All right, let me see if I can get this off of the air. This is why when you stream on social media, that it's always good to have mods on your side. Okay, let me see. Sorry, I don't know this interface as well. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, here we go. Oh, did somebody take it off for me? I don't see it anymore. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna keep going then. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. All right. Are we back? Are we back? Oh, okay. I think I just did it. All right. Person's in timeout.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It says, my one says that they're blocked for 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, if they come back, we'll we'll boot them again. It just means, I've been told if you get trolls, that means you're actually doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. So here's another shot from the side of that. And I just think it was very clever the way they did that. Yeah. Lots of different angles. Am I just going in a loop? No, there it is. That's the last one. Okay, so the next one we have is one of the people who I partner with on Rebrick This is Debo Bricks. And he always comes up with something very innovative. And this is the Phoenix. And let me go back and look at the Phoenix and the Acolyte. So he's, and I think too, the other thing he took advantage of was the stickers. So you can see that the stickers really give this look of a face almost to this character on the left. And I would just love this Phoenix. This look that he put together with the beak here and the flames coming off of the back of the Phoenix. Here's another close-up of it. Just gorgeous.
Oh,
and
it is.
if you're not following Debo Bricks, you should follow Debo Bricks too, because Debo has been doing some amazing builds. And here's another one of the views close-ups, but I think this Phoenix is one of my favorites. It just, you want to put that up as almost like an art piece on your shelf. It's just gorgeous. All right. So now here we have Geo the Brick Fam Jedi, or Geo the Brick Jedi and Fam. I always get this wrong, but and this one talks about too that what I was saying earlier, that if you're wanting to be in a better mental health place, then why don't you have a set and just make it into something that brings you joy. And so, and she says, if I put roller skates on my rocking chair, would that be considered rock and roll? So there was a little bit of comedy here too. And I think that's what's represented here on the right, is that it's a rocking chair, like with roller skates. And this character, Sprite, has the joyful face on it. And then this little, sidekick robot. Very, very cute. And here's another look at the face. And this one also, look at the feet back here.
What's nice about this one is as you're going through the photos, there's almost a bit of a story as well.
Yeah.
So as you will be clicking through, you'll see.
Like they're giving him a hug.
And look, and you can now see the robot has now taken over the chair, and you can see Sprite has a
like, oh, why did you take my chair?
Yeah.
And then they're having a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we'll sit next to each other. How's that?
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what's also quite nice about it. At first, you just think it's just a normal, build, but then you kind of, as you flick through it, you go, oh, actually, there's a kind of nice story to that as well.
Yep. And here's our little promo picture. Thank you for doing that, by the way. You did that for all of the challenges, which I know takes a lot of work too.
It's a way to kind of, it was a way to, because there's so much stuff going on, you want how to people to remember. And if it's like my memory, you have to keep being reminded things are on.
Yeah. So and you're right. This photo says it all. With that face and the little turn of the head, like, wait a minute, what did you just do? So Geo the Brick Fam Jedi, a really good sense of humor and a nice story too with this. And that wasn't part of the request. We didn't tell people make a story out of this. We just said, hey, build something. And I just want to make sure I'm looking to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Yeah. And here we have Rebrick This. This is from Bricksish. And this is where we were talking about the use of those horns. And you can see that this spider-like creature was just phenomenal. I love the detail in the back here with this little claw. It's almost as if it's a tail feather. And then also just this little angle that they made also with this. Debo loves a phoenix. Yes, he does. And the stickers are great. Yeah, I'm catching up on the chat too with the restickering from the previous one. But so Brixish, you can see the other thing that I love about this is look at the backdrop, is that there's this gradient of gray that the photography or Photoshop or whatever they were doing with the shadows, it just looks amazing and really pops. And then the time they took. Yeah.
I think they've got a one of those cube things, which I can't remember its proper name now. Photo box.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a photo of the set as well in it.
Yep,
so I
there
think
it
they've
is.
just got that with some good lighting.
It's amazing lighting. And also what was nice about this is how they put the 4 angles into one shot. Yeah. Which was nice too. And the other thing too is that we told people just use whatever's in the box. You don't have to use everything in the box. And this was very judicious as far as that they have, I think, 12 or 14 of those little spires. And, just using 6 of them is enough. You don't have to go over the top. So yeah, very strategic and well done use of those. So I know these are in reverse order, and I'm looking for Remy's. Remy, did you post your rebrick this with, or the mock improv with the hashtag rebrick this? Or did you use mock improv only? Because I don't see it here. Because I'm looking for Remy's, because we're going in reverse chronological order, and I know he posted it. So I'll come back and look for it on your page, Remy. Okay, so Dutch hooded one. And Maraid too, if you didn't post it, if you could make sure you put that hashtag rebrick this, as well as hashtag mind the brick and hashtag mock improv. So this one is from Dutch Hooded One, who's also in the chat. And this one was funny because he did not look at the instructions. And then when he put this together, it's almost exactly what the instructions said. Which I thought was very clever. And also I told him it makes it, you think like a designer. And he made it more snake-like. So when we look at this, and once again, really nice lighting, and he's a professional photographer. So you can see.
I really like this one. Again, I've had that feeling when I was trying to, that's the whole idea of the snakes, because of all in it, which are kind of the ball joints and stuff like that, does give you that kind of impression of, and this is something which is what I would want to try and do. But this is, this is sort of, I think this is great, this one.
So the chat is
the
saying,
use of the clear bricks as well to make it, again, it's that pose as well, where it's the use of the clear bricks to have it kind of leaning up rather than just.
And we gave allowances for that too. So for those of you who said, well, that wasn't in the box, it's like, well, we said whatever's in the box, plus you have a 12-piece allowance from whatever's in your collection. And the head is almost exactly like what was in the instructions. So that's really interesting that came together like that. And here's a top view, which I really love because he's one of the few that did a top-down view as well. Yeah, but he's also a professional photographer, so he knows.
Well, he's saying professional amateur.
A professional.
In the comments, he's just said that. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you're definitely more advanced than some of us, and I think the other thing, look at the attention to detail that every single one of these is lined up perfectly. And I know sometimes when I'm taking photos, especially from the top down, that there might be 1 or 2 that might be off by a little bit, but he made sure everything was aligned, which is just that attention to detail that we were talking about earlier. Okay, so here's another one of mine. So this is a pirate ship. Surprise, surprise.
This is the one when I remember seeing this and actually wow, because it's something so and it made me kind of go, because I think before then I was really struggling, and this is the one which made me go, wow, you can do something completely different, because it is just sort of it's sort of
This is
this
is to show you the scale.
Yeah. But it also shows that you don't necessarily need loads of parts to represent anything, because it is, it's obvious it's a bow. It's a, and it has that, it's the sort of bow which could be in Game of Thrones or something like that, or Lord of the Rings. Has that feel of,
Well, I don't know why there's an echo. Hold on. Let me see if I got my audio going on somewhere. No, it's not there. Hold up. Okay, maybe it's somebody. Is it on your end? I heard an echo for a moment. Well, let me show you that this. All right, so this is the actual size from the set. And when I brought it to this meeting, I went to the Cactus Brick meeting because I'm here in Arizona, and they were having a pirate build off. And my little ship is right here. And look at all these massive ships and massive builds that were at that. So, and I was number 4. There were only 4 people who brought builds. So I just thought it was hilarious. But yeah, you're right. And everybody who knows and follows the Rebrick This challenge knows that I will find a way to make a pirate ship out of anything. That's just what I do. All right. So where are we now? Let's take a look. And yeah, so Remy, I'm gonna once we're through with this, I'm gonna go look for yours because I see this other one that he did earlier. Okay, so this one's another one from Geo the Brick Fam Jedi, and this is the first one she did. And so this is a good comparison to the previous one where she did the story. And this is one where she talks about Icarus and Sprite having their first Vegas show. They're the headliners of a Vegas show. And this is where she used those little ball joints as microphones, which I thought was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. And just her sense of humor is just hilarious. And I think these flames kind of represent, the Las Vegas show, how everything is all fancy and they've got the flames going and everything. So yeah, I just love her sense of humor. Going upside down. Yep, and back to the box. And I think the other thing, which was just wonderful about this whole community, is that we were cross-promoting each other. We were working on each other's different challenges to help each other out and still raise awareness. And now here's another one from Brixish. And this one, you remember, I think her earlier one also had the character that was flaring out. So this one looks more like a frog. So I think he likes characters. Yeah. This one's so cute. I absolutely love this frog looking character. And she also does, oh, that's right. She did actually the spider one earlier because she did the same thing with the 4 views. Yeah. And there's the box. Yeah, I like I said, it's just amazing, just the variety of things that you see coming out of this. Okay, so here's Remy's first one before he did mock improv. And look at this balance. OMG. When I saw this, I was like, going, whoa, look at all the things he stacked from that set. But I wanted to focus on this little spiral here on the bottom. This is brilliant. It looks like a good way to do a spiral staircase for a micro build. So I may borrow that, Remy. I love the look of this for like a small micro scale tower. And it's all balanced on this one brick. It's like a 1x2, I think, brick at the bottom. Isn't that crazy?
To me, it's just I keep on thinking it's not real because it's sort of, I just think to have all that balancing, it's amazing. It is sort of, but also again, to have that build and then to have what they wrote in the post as well about how mental health is a balancing act.
Yes.
And
it's a balancing act.
Again, it's how that, we can turn it, we can connect mental health to everything.
And I want to read this because he also has a very lyrical way of describing things, because he talks about mental health as a balancing act, a constant tightrope walk between shifting goalposts, where a momentary lapse can mean a headlong tumble into the abyss, where success is often as invisible as gravity. That is just beautiful. It is so beautiful. I think just you were saying earlier, Nick, about the descriptions on top of all the amazing builds also just says a lot for just the builders, their way of looking at the world. And look at this top-down view. I mean, talk about balance and proportion, and also just keeping it aligned from top to bottom.
I just want to know, maybe Remy can comment in the chat, is how long did it actually stay up for? Is it one of those things where you had it and it stayed up for ages for the photo, or was it one of those very quickly take it? I'd be curious to know how long it was, sort of, yeah.
So he was talking about that the bottom is a slope and a reverse slope, but still, he got the idea from those who stack rocks. Oh, well, that's cool. And also, he was working on Kitsugi, a build. Okay, using the trans black pieces. Okay, but
yeah,
didn't come together.
I saw that build. I think, when was it? You posted that yesterday.
Yeah, he did the orchid build recently.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too, and by the way, welcome PT. Glad to have you here. Is that Remy, as I was mentioning, he was one of the builders for Mock Improv, and he just has this really great way of looking at the world and being able to put also not just here's a good build, but also putting a description that makes you think about what's happening in our world. And so I just wanted to give you a shout out there, Remy. That's one of the reasons why we love you, man, is not only are you an amazing builder, is I tell him he keeps me up to date on any kind of things happening in current events. I just watched his stream.
Stayed up for half an hour. Wow,
half an hour?
Impressive. That is impressive.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna watch the chat. Oh, okay. There it is. Yep.
That's now just given me a very idea for one of my workshops. I do a lot of workshops with kids and stuff. Balancing thing could be a very good challenge.
And he did it as long as he could for the photos. Nicely done. And what's interesting is I just started learning about reels and learning about highlights. And so when I put together the stories and put them into the highlights, I found a stack of rocks in a GIF that kind of went back and forth like this with a person standing on top. And Remy said, "Where did you find that?" I said, "It was just a sticker. Just go on to Instagram and find those stickers." Now, I wanted to ask you about this, because this is what you were talking about, just having an expression on your face, right?
Yes.
And that this is how you're feeling today, or because this is Sig Fig Fridays.
Yeah, this is secret, which is just a normal thing, but I did it. I mean, this was one that was a bit about going, just basically sort of highlighting what other challenges there were. But part of it was just going to go, look, it's just basically about myself and just who I am. And again, it's trying to show, but also looking at it now, there is a kind of subconsciously, there's a lot of, because there's lots of kind of faults with this figure where you can see some printings come off bit here. There's also that kind of subconscious element of going, look, again, it's that.
It's been through a lot.
We've been through a lot, and it's
got scratches on it. It's worn. The beard is half off. Yeah.
It's in my pocket. Basically, it's one of my things. For my mental health, I always carry minifigures around.
Oh, okay. And do you bring your sig figs with you everywhere too?
With me, I just like taking pictures of minifigures everywhere. So I do get some, which unfortunately then get a bit scratched or stuff like that. But yeah,
now, this is also yours, and this is your first rebrick. that you did.
Yeah, I don't like this one. I'm a bit, I was trying to do, because I'm into mosaics, and I was trying to think, okay, let's try and do a mosaic. But the problem is with the parts which were in the set, it doesn't really, because of the connection parts, it doesn't really lend itself to mosaic. So
you don't have like a big base plate that you could put things on.
Yeah. So, but also more the fact that there's a lot of parts in it which are, will be clip onto the, the poles. There's also a lot of ones which only connect to the underside of a brick and not the top side. So you can put them underneath something, but you wouldn't then see it.
I like these on the sides, how you use these, because they reminded me of flames or sconces you'd see on the sides.
Yeah, that's sort of what it was trying to be, kind of, like some sort of fiery. But again, I think I used majority of the bricks. Like all these, again, I know we didn't have to, but I always like to try and see if I could.
And that's the challenge, if you can use everything in the box. Okay, so
even though I'm not necessarily a biggest fan of what I created, I just liked the idea. I still enjoyed the actual process. So it doesn't matter about the end result. It was more about the process.
And this is the amazing thing about this set. So this is my very first rebrick that I did of this set, and I made it a triangular portal, and that Icarus and Sprite were kind of moving around the portal, and the flames and other things that were around it. And I could, from the same set, build this, and I could build a pirate ship. So it just shows you that depending on what you see in your mind's eye and putting these pieces together, it can be done. And
that's why I really love this challenge, because it was a case of, because it was a very unconventional in terms of pieces, it did make you have to think, and and that's why I say I thought it was going to be easier than it was, and it was harder, and that was good, because it was made me think, okay, right, what type of piece can you put in, where can it, and because it's just simple things like the connector is. Very few of these are because a lot of them aren't system bricks. They aren't, because they are just ball socket or whatever. It's so you can't connect it to other bricks. So that to me was the challenge, and that was what's really interesting. That's what I love seeing, things like what you just done here. Is again, that's just so simple, but so beautiful, and so kind of and again, but also fits in with the film as well, because it is very kind of
and that's the thing, is that the Eternal set, and I wanted to say I did find the other two posts. Oh, Spot the Magic Ninjas here too. Mairead and Remy also participated in Mock Improv. So I found those two builds using the Mock Improv hashtag. So I wanted to share those with you because and like I said, keep in mind, they did the same challenge, but within an hour and with input from the chat. So let me make sure. Can you see this? Can you see this okay? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, it's showing up. Good. So here's Mairead's. And so Mairead took advantage of those dots, because remember, we gave people a 12-piece allowance in addition to what was in the set. And what she did is she did like a forced perspective. So you have the character in front of the city of Seoul, Korea, kind of way in the back, which I thought was brilliant, the way she did that. And here's another view of that. She had a similar thing where she was using like the J as for javelin. And here's her micro city. And so this mock improv is something I do once a month. And sometimes I say, okay, we're going to do mock improv and we're going to use a set. And I said, we're going to use the aerial assault set. And it was so much fun doing this along with Mairead and with Remy. And you've already seen mine, which is this one. And here's Remy's. And Yeah, it's he did put the rebrick this hashtag in, but I guess maybe mock improv took priority. so he has an I and an S. I think you were going with Icarus and Sprite. Is that right, Remy?
Yeah.
For the I and the S.
I guess so.
Oh, hey, Alexander 23 is here too as well. Yeah. So the going back to just look at the detail of these curves that he put in the back for the buildings of Seoul, Korea. And that this is also, I think, a gate. Here's the description. And it says, you know, thanks for having me on the show. As part of Mind the Brick challenges for January, we had an hour. Yes. I'm still unsure as to what the Alphabet Olympics is. And I've never been to Seoul, so apologies to all around. I tried to build the dancing towers as well as the Jongo Tower. Swipe for references. So here's I think the dancing towers.
Yeah.
And then here's, I think, the Jongo.
Yeah.
Or Jongno Tower. And here's the reference. Oh, look at that. The dancing towers. I totally see that.
I mean, totally. I mean, it's sort of, yeah.
And then here's the, I think the other Jongno Tower. And this is just interesting when we did this mock improv. And here's the promo piece that I put together. And that Mairead, Remy, and I used this Eternal set, and we did this mock improv in an hour's time, live, and not for the faint of heart, I will say.
Are you also building this live in front of people?
Yes, we're building live. You can go back on my YouTube stream, and you can see this whole event taking place where we're asking the chat for, you know, what should we be building. And then we built it, and then we shared it at the very end of the stream. So yeah, I do that once a month. And if you'd like to participate, Nick, we'd love to know.
I mean,
that was a hard no. I mean, it was like
not necessarily no, but
it's like, oh no,
that would be.
Hello, Will Harper. Thanks for stopping by. Yes, hit that like button. Yes, thank you for the reminder. For those of you who are interested in the Brickanista Broadcast Network, make sure that you follow that like button, because remember to like and subscribe. In fact, I'll just keep that ticker going on the bottom here. Thank you, Will, for the reminder. I'm very bad at self-promotion. I need to do a better job of that. But I think we got all of the builds, which is awesome.
There was one other one, which again, I think I've seen it on the.
Was it on Rebrick This?
No, I think it's on. Should be on the
thing.
It's one which is just the S. Oh yeah, it's one S is for Sprite.
Okay.
Yeah, it was done right through the mock improv stream.
Was it? Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen again.
Hashtag rebrick this.
All right. Let me share my screen for a minute. Was it for Rebrick This, you said?
Yeah, it's on Rebrick This.
Okay, let me take a look real quick. And I think I saw that too.
It's the letter S for Sprite. Yeah,
okay. There it is. Oh, there it is. This one. Yes. Oh, it's from Dutch Hooded One. Yes, good call. Thank you. Yeah, so Dutch Hooded One, who is in the Netherlands. So you were talking about this being a global presence. Mm-hmm. So we had the United States, the UK, we had the Netherlands, Australia, who are all participating in Mind the Brick challenges. And I'm sure if you did an analysis of all of them, especially I think Jen, who does the minifig habitats, she has a very big global presence, as well as Geo the Birmingham Jedi too. But this one all is part of the Mind the Brick challenges. So yeah, so did the letter S for Sprite. And once again, you don't have to use all the pieces in the set. You can just do something. And I love the elegance of this and the symmetry of this too.
That's what I like. That's why I kind of spotted it. It's very kind of nice. Again, it's that sometimes minimal is sometimes better than, it's not over engineered. It's literally has that curves of an S. It has that feel, it is what, it's fairly obvious. Remy's just saying he's got to go.
Yep. I was typing it. I didn't want to interrupt you. So bye, Remy. Thank you, Remy, and everybody for participating in this. I mean, it's really amazing to me, just in a short amount of time. We had a month that we had the 1 month of the full challenge, and several people did multiple builds. And then we also had the 1 hour mock improv where myself, Remy, and Mairead put together the Seoul Korea and the Alphabet Olympics taking place. And I will let you know when the next mock improv is taking place. We typically do it on a Sunday, usually the second or the third Sunday of the month, but February might be the fourth Sunday, because in 2 weeks, 49ers hopefully will be in the Super Bowl. They're playing in 20 minutes. So when you said, can we meet at 10 UK time? I said, yeah, 10 will work. If you said 11, I would have probably said,
no.
Maybe we should move it to another day, because today we're playing the LA Rams. So go Niners. and I just wanted to say thank you again, Nick. I really, first of all, thank you for the invitation to be a part of this, because you reached out to me early on, and I absolutely said anything I could do to help, because it's such an important topic. And especially for me, just personally, this has been probably one of the hardest months for me, is the month of January, because we just went through the holidays. I've been homesick because I miss Seattle. I've been dealing with family and medical and holiday issues throughout this time. And just having the Lego community has been just wonderful sense of comfort for me. And when people like you reach out to me, and I don't really think of myself as a big influencer, but you said, I really want you to be a part of this.
Yeah, I mean, I know from the beginning, I was kind of, obviously, I knew you from the Daily Brick Limit, and it's like,
yes,
it's, you sort of again, you kind of think, I knew you had kind of from that, knew you had a YouTube thing, you had that sort of all, and again, it's that sort of, you want sort of people who kind of, the main thing I wanted people was people who were enthusiastic about doing challenges and stuff like that, and you were, and so you want people who will kind of push it out and sort of, because that's what I don't want, is people who they don't tell anyone and no one knows about it and no one does it. So I knew you've got your kind of your supporters, and so and then so it's the idea of that, and then that's why I also kind of think like I knew the Lego Dare ones had also the following, and then so that's why I had to kind of, those were kind of like the beginning people, and that's why then I followed on, people like Brick Band Builds, the Habitat one, because I knew that has a big following, so I thought
it's a huge following, and I think now that she knows what you're doing, she will definitely join next year. And some other people,
we had a couple of, because she was really, I think, because for her, because it's so many people does it, is a big, quite a lot, because also she posts pictures of all of them afterwards, and it's quite a lot of work. So, and she had just done the Christmas one, so she was a little bit like, when I first approached her, going, I'm not sure if I can do it, but I think she understood again. I think from, I don't want to say words in her own mouth, but I think she again knew about the mental health on her side and felt it was an important thing to do for herself. So it was like, yeah, and sort of, and that's what, to me, is what I've loved, is added their own element, their own story to it, and that's what I wanted. It wasn't this to be everything just about me, because that's I hate that, to be honest.
You brought everybody together. You were the catalyst. Yeah. You were the person who took the time to reach out to us, because that's a lot of effort too. It's like cold calling, right? It's kind of like, well, I don't know you, but I heard of you. I think you'd be great to help with this effort. And I just wanted to thank you. I really enjoyed the ride. I wanted to thank everybody in the audience who has been watching this today, or if you're watching this afterwards, as far as just as a replay. And also just remember, you don't have to wait for a challenge to do this. Is that if you're feeling that you are in a bad place, reach out to people in the AFOL community, find some bricks, put them together, build something that brings you joy. That's the most important thing, is that we want everybody to know that you're not alone. There's so many people out here who can help you.
This is the reason why, in some ways, the Mind the Brick hashtag will be there, even though the month will be, it's going to be once a month, once a year. But the idea, I think the hashtag will be one of the things where I will encourage people, to, if you time anything, use it as a kind of way, if you are suffering or got anything like that, use this as a way of, not quite therapy, but, use it as a kind of, use your Lego as a way of to express how you're feeling and coping, use it as a way to kind of, if you're not quite sure how to say it, it might be, and you might find other people out there who are also experiencing similar things. People might better, at least you get comfort in the support that, you're not alone. There'll be the people, there might be some other people support you might have. And it's just sort of, as someone just said in the comment, hashtags aren't seasonal. And so that's why I don't want this to be seasonal. I want this to be a continual, I mean, again, I do get annoyed with certain things when it becomes like, we only talk about these items once a year. So I don't want the conversation to end about mental health,
Right. And I think that what we could do too is just whenever there is a moment that you want to talk about a topic, or something happens in current events that is on people's minds. If you ever want to have either a YouTube broadcast like this, like we're doing today, or I'm now starting to do Instagram, because I wanted to just mention too that I'm going to be doing a live Instagram build for the first time. I usually do them all only on YouTube, but I'm doing a community build tomorrow. It's going to be 6 o'clock Pacific time. So Monday, 6 o'clock Pacific time. And we're going to be building the Lunar New Year gift with purchase set. So we're going to be building the Year of the Tiger set. And I know that Zach Martinez approached me about doing this, and it will be on Instagram, which is a new platform for me. So if you do have it and you want to build, or if you just want to hang out and tune in, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow.
I've got half of it.
And no one.
I've got half of it built.
Oh, you have half of it built? So just to remind people, this is the set. The gift with purpose.
That's the one.
Yeah, if you've built half of it and you're progressing, and I think that you'll see a lot of this with other people who have been doing just community builds, is that, tune into, whether it's me or somebody else, tune into various streamers, because sometimes it's just having another set of voices that are there with you. Oh, let me give you the full screen.
Just showing off. This is what I've been building actually a bit today.
Oh yeah.
On the other,
the tradition set.
Yeah, tradition set. It's the one which is.
They're cleaning.
Yes, this is the cleaning one, but it's the one which there's 6, 7.
There are 6 modules
together, and
I've done 3 of the modules
because each. Yeah, 3 of. But this is also, again, one of the things we're also going to is my missus, my wife, finds Lego so frustrating. She tried to build one of these, but and this is what in some ways, it's not Lego. It's not necessarily for everyone. It's like, well, because she literally one of the few people who will find literally trying to build anything like this the most stressful thing in the world. And,
don't want that. We don't want that. And since you reminded me, I will be finishing this on my Twitch stream tonight, because Sundays I usually stream on YouTube at 1 o'clock Pacific and 9 o'clock on Twitch. So I moved it an hour because of wanted to accommodate Nick, and then but I will be finishing this tonight because tomorrow is January 31st, and then February 1st it's New Year's. So I will be finishing this, and this one is my favorite because this one reminds me of watching football with my parents on TV. And it's missing my brother, though. My brother is also going to be coming over, and the game is starting in 10 minutes. So I just wanted to say thank you again, Nick. Thank you for inviting me to this journey. Thank you, everyone in the chat. If you are interested, make sure that you follow Brighton Bricks, because Nick is the person who does those posts every now and then too about just reminding yourself of mental health. It's just taking a break, looking at, balancing your life, making sure that you have the people around you and the support that you need. And you're listening to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. And I will be back in Seattle soon. And if you are interested, my P.O. Box is P.O. Box 31956, Seattle, Washington 98103. And you're listening once again to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. Thank you, Nick, for your gracious invitation. Thank you for being here on the YouTube channel, both to kick it off and to do the review. I think it was just a delight. And feel free to stop by tomorrow if you want to build this, that it's 6 o'clock Pacific, which I think is like 3 a.m. for you. So you may not want to do that. But thank you again. And I'm sure we'll see each other soon. And thank you, chat, for being such great supporters of this channel. Look at that show, and you got another follower, Nick, and all the Californians. Remember, send some good karma for the Niners, would you? Yeah. I know PT is in Southern California, so we'll see how things go. Anyway, take care, everybody. And as they say on the Brickanista Broadcast Network, may the clutch be with you. Take care. Bye. See ya.